Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing, another altcoin update, but we're going to first start with Dent for my man Jerome. And you can see right now we have been in a downtrend in Dent for quite some time, and we've been quite bearish on Dent. And Jerome knows that when you're into 3 or 4 hour time frame, if you're below the 200-day moving average, which is in green right here, that is very bearish, right? And we've been below that for quite some time. If we take a look at this, you can see we were in a bull run right here. We got above the 200-day, held it as support, little fake out, held it as support with a wick, and then flushed through it, and then rejected, right? So we've been very bearish recently since we broke below the 200-day moving average, right? So then we came down here, right here, with our industry exclusive perching tool. You can see we had this after the flush. We got bearish when we broke below the 200-day moving average in green, flush below it, had a little bit of a volume spike, but not that much, traded down, then tried to have a pump right here off of building a base off of this 0.004816 support, crashed below it, formed this little descending triangle where you had after this flush and a huge wick the day of the big December 3rd of 2021 crypto great dump. We had the great buyback in the same day, but you had a big wick here and it formed this descending triangle bearish continuation pattern where you have descending lower highs and horizontal roughly in the same area of lower support minus the wick, and then the breakdown would be from the top to the bottom, which would get you down here, and that's where I think you're going to trade to. And then you can make another run back up here at the 200-day moving average, right? Bouncing off the 0.002979 and then coming up into the moving average. If we put it out into the future, it would look something like that, right? So that's what we're looking at right now, but right now we're still bearish. If we're trying to get bullish, we have to bounce off of our support right here when you eventually come down here, and then you got to start to trade up and try to make a run at the 200-day and this target right there. So that might be an area where you could get some buyers, Jerome, if you want to pay attention for that. You may get some buyers as you come off the lower support down here, and then we'll keep an eye on that for you and see how you react off that. But you could have some buyers there. If you fail to hold that though, this is your underneath target, and you do not want to be part of a, let's see, a 30% flush, Jerome, if you don't hold this, because you are going to retest this, and if you don't hold that and you flush, you do not want to be anywhere within this trade if it flushes down here, because you'd be in a heap of trouble, right? So be very cautious, Jerome, and just wait for some volume to come in, wait for it to back test this a few times and form some structure in the overall market before you were to buy into trying to buy a potential run from here to upper resistance at the 200-day moving average. So Jerome, we'll keep you updated on that, and everybody else that loves Dent as much as Jerome and I and all the other phenomenal coins that we go over here. Here is Rmrk coin. This is a new coin. We're going to follow this one. It's got some lively price action, but this one might be due for a bit of a flush, but we're going to take a look at it, put some support and resistance lines. Always start off by making the chart super simple and easy by going to a far out time frame, right? And then working your way in for that aforementioned super simple, easy way to trade this manipulated market. Because if you don't have perspective on where the market's been and how it got to where it is at now, you can't have any understanding with any probability based certainty or expectations to make a successful trade if you're not looking at the full picture, right? So you can see you obviously have some lower support there. It doesn't take a genius to see that. And then you can put your upper resistance, and it obviously, again, doesn't take a genius to see this either. You're just connecting dots, and you would prefer each time to have 3, right? And right now you can clearly see you've had major upper resistance at $37, right? Major upper resistance at $11. And my man here, I'm going to call you XRP Sniper because I believe that's who you are, but you have a few different names, and the one you're commenting on all the time, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that, but we're looking for volatility, and that's what you seem to be looking for. You seem to be a momentum and a volatility trader, because that's where all the big swing trades can be made, where there's volatility, and this coin has had plenty of volatility, and you've requested me to look at a few coins, so I've added this one for right now to go over every day, because my man has given me the power to pick a couple of coins along with the ones that he wants on there every day out of a list of a basket that he likes to look at. And this one right now, because of the volatility, I've decided to take a look at, and you can see we have that, and then we're going to pull our volume indicator up, and you can see it's down here is our major volume traded range, right? So we're going to mark that, because that's a very critical spot, and that also too coincides with the bottom of any potential wedge that, or a rising channel that we're starting to form here. And we're going to start making our major volume indicator, we need to have it a certain color. We're going to make that white every time, because I need to have my shithouse lines on there too. So then we're going to lock this, right? Come on. And then we're going to lock that so we don't move it. So that's our volume indicator. That's our major traded range, right? Then we have another little traded range up here. But if we get that down, so that's very easy. And these are the very easy way to make a technical chart. Pretty much a technical chart 101. Easy things to put on there. Now, if you're watching this, the patterns bend shit. That's why you always want to lock your stuff when you put them on. I didn't lock that, so then it moved. Right, there we go. So you can see, we'll hit the lock button now. So you can see every time you've hit the upper resistance at about $11, you got rejected. Then you hit lower support at $10, got pumped up. $37, hit that same uptrending line, although we didn't know it yet. Now we knew what we had won, then we can start connecting to. Got rejected, fake out, hit it again, got rejected for a third time. So now you've had it at 61, broke down, rejected, 37 upper resistance rejected, and $11 rejected. Then you got $10.90 support, $37.53 attempting to support. If you are now in the 3-hour time frame and you're watching this coin and you're thinking it could make another potential move up right here, right? Where'd my drawing tool go? There it is. If you're thinking it could make another potential move up right here, right in there, right? You can start. You got to watch this very closely. If you get above this 200-day moving average right there in the 3-hour time frame and close above it, you can see that as getting bullish and maybe making another run at this upper resistance up here, because this coin seems to be very new again, and we have no other. We have nothing else to go off of besides what we're seeing in the current, other than what we're seeing with what the coin's showing in the price action, because that's all technical analysis is looking at the price action, taking the indicators and a basket of indicators that you like, and trying to figure out what the chart's telling you. And this chart's only had not that many months of price action, so that's all the data that we have. But if it's going to play it, what it's been doing through its early brief history of its life, you buy support and you sell resistance, right? Resistance, sell, support, buy. See that? And then if we scroll back longer into the chart, you can see the whole history, it's been the same thing. Buy support, sell resistance. Buy support, sell resistance, right? And then you would have had to be out, and then you buy support, and then you hope to sell resistance. So that's what we're going to watch out for right now. The volume has come way down after it's come off the last pump you had up there on upper resistance at $61. The volume was, coming back up, and then off this flush and reversal, you've had the volume steadily decline to almost nothing, right? You've had this volume trade down to almost nothing. You can see where the volume's here, and then it's almost traded down to nothing way, way, way down there today on the 18th of December. There's barely even a move. So what does that mean? The volume's about to come back in, more than likely tomorrow as the futures market opens. And if you get buy volume, you could have a nice pump starting to make your move up towards upper resistance, right? you could have a bouncing off of this support line. You know, you could get back into here, and that would be a nice 20, 21, 22% pump when the volume comes back in. But on the downside, if the volume comes back in and it's sell volume and you break the pattern now for the first time, because support, you could have bought and then sell resistance, buy support, sell resistance, buy the moving average, sell resistance. And then if you're trying to buy support again, the next time up here would be way up here 85. But if you fail this and you break down, you're going to come all the way down there, right? You wouldn't come all the way down there right away. What it likes to do is break out of there. We're going to need to go to the weekly. What it likes to do is, nope, the coin's not new enough, the daily. It likes to break out of there and then move down. It doesn't even have enough price action, enough time for that to get the moving averages. So we can't do that. The coin's not old enough to have the moving averages out in the monthly and whatnot. But there's usually a moving average that would be about midway down where the coin, when it first breaks out, about right there, and the 4 hour or daily. But there's no moving average here because the price ain't long enough in the daily and weekly. It likes to break out of there initially, retest, or test the moving average that would be there, and then trade back up and back test, and then come down, right, and fulfill the targeted move. And then you kind of form that all jabroni enticing double top, or actually it's more like a triple top, because you got a peak here, then you would have a peak there and a crash, and then a come back up and a peak right there, and it's almost a head and shoulders topping reversal pattern. So that's what I would be watching out for. I personally wouldn't buy this thinking it's coming up here to repeat the pattern. I think it's more likely that you flush out of here real quick, form sort of a neckline down here, come back up, back test the former underneath support, which is now upper resistance, and then you fail that and come down, because then you got a left shoulder, you got a head, and you got the potential right shoulder that I think might be forming into the future. And then the targeted move from there would be from the top of the head to the neckline to the point of a breakout, and that gets you to bankruptcy. But that's just because we don't have the it's the percentile, but it would be, so it'd be about a 60% flush from the neckline, which would probably get us right down to our targeted move, and it does. Look at that, it gets us exactly 60% down to our targeted move down here at the bottom of the wedge. But the reason I say this and showing you this potential pattern, if this makes any kind of sense to my subscriber that's following that this coin would be interested to, because if this does play out, you could buy the neckline down here, and that would be backed up a resistance of 40-50% safe play to sell out and have some profit, and then watch the targeted move flush down to our volume indicator trading range down here in our white support box, and that would be a nice pump from buying in the 26, 25, 27 range, and buying the huge pump all the way back to $42, $43 for a 40% pump, right? So that's what I think could be going on here, and I'm going to watch out for that to see if this could be a potential head and shoulders topping reversal pattern forming here in Rmrk, and that would be a neckline somewhere about right there, right? And we would put a price label down here to watch this into the future, see if we don't break down out of this $37 major underneath support right now and break down to 25 cents, and then from 25 cents you come back and you trade up to form the right shoulder now that we're zoomed in and it looks better, and then you back test that, get rejected, and trade back towards the neckline, because that's what they like to do after they break down out of this on any kind of rising channel or rising wedge. And on falling wedges and falling channels, it's just the opposite. They break up and then shoot back down the back test and then go the other way, right? But how many times have we showed you rising wedges and channels where they break out of it, come to the moving average, get bought back up, back test it, straddle it, then get rejected and continue down, right? So this could be a head and shoulders topping reversal pattern forming, where we already have the left shoulder, we already formed the head, now we're maybe about to form the right shoulder if this breaks down and doesn't hold the support line right here and try to make a run back up there for an all jabroni enticing double top. So we'll keep an eye on that for you in this coin. SDN, I know this is a coin that you said you like, so it's in the rotation still. You can see we've been following it for a while, so we have our fib circles, and we've continued to have this underneath target, and this could be a nice buying opportunity here. You seem to be wanting to make swing trades at $1.31 and this long descending bearish, just getting continually knocked down. But you can see here you had a nice pump off the fib circle. If you notice what we had here, if we zoom in, we were on a long, steady, just benign, just stew straight down. Then we had a fib circle right here that could be support coinciding with our underneath support and our descending channel, and we formed a double bottom off that and had a phenomenal pump right there, and that was a 43.69% pump. Now what we've been eyeing since the price, we've been following it for quite some time since back in here. We've been eyeing this down here as a potential, again, where we have a fib circle, which could be your support. The same buyers could be there, and then you got your descending underneath support with this falling channel that we're in. Again, very similar to right here, right? So we've been eyeing this, and this may be a good spot to potentially play a swing trade where buyers could be on a flush down to here, and then you would have buyers from there to upper resistance, and that could be a 42% pump similar to right here. So that's what we're going to be watching out for. Is this maybe going to happen here to here, right? Something similar to back here where you had your fib circle coinciding in the same area with your underneath support. So that's a potential swing trade that I'm watching for you right here. But the crypto market's very bearish, so that's also inhibiting things from going on. But I would pay attention for this if it continues to just sort of do this, come up a little bit, and it's doing this and just leaking down, and then it steadies out and makes any kind of significant double bottom here. That could be your sign that you're going to make a nice pump up to here, right, to upper resistance. So that's what we're going to keep an eye out for you in ZK Tube, right, at $1.89. And then we got Nord. Nord's the same thing. It's been bearish. You can see we've traded sideways now. Let's move in from the 4 hour. We've actually broken over, or we might just need to move this fib circle into the current day. 17, we got to speed this up. This video is going on way too long. I've been very busy, so I haven't had time to really get too in depth into much, but you can see it's trying to break over this, but now we're starting to hold this as support. And this could be trying to say Nord's maybe coiling up for a move to the upside, but the overall crypto market's so bearish, so I'm thinking it might be coiling up for a move to the downside because it's at a critical level for it. We might have to bring this fib circle out to the current day because it's been a minute. We're still using the same high, but we want to get it to the current day. There we go, the 18th. And we were using not the candle body. There you go. I don't know, we don't want to do that. That ruins it. We want to keep it where it was. Oops. Ah, come on. Oh my God. You try to do one thing and screw it up, and then it just all goes kablooey. Oh, we were using it up there. All right. No, we got to keep it there. I don't know what I was thinking. We're going to have to put a new fib circle to connect off to that fib circle to get this new potential run that we're going by. But this is a very tricky situation because this could go either way right here. But this to me looks like classic. I think you're coming down. And this could be a nice point off of here, your old resistance bar on this collapse. If this falls down, this could be a nice support zone down here at $2.16, and then that would be a good spot to buy, and that would coincide with the volume indicator exact area where it's the mean of the volume, the buy and sell zones, right? So this would be a good swing trade opportunity down here, but I'm very bearish on this. It looks to me like it wants to continue to come down, right? But the volume's declined to almost nothing. That means this move is about to happen. There's going to be a big move, either way up when the volume comes back in. See how there's no volume? When these volume comes back in with a big candlestick, like back here, the price is either going to go way up real quick, right, and someone's going to make a lot of money, or someone's going to lose a lot of money because it's going to come in, it's going to flash drop real quick as the volume comes in, and someone's going to get wrecked. So we're going to keep an eye on all this for you. I got to get this video out. I know I missed the coin, but this has already went on far too long of a video. Like, subscribe, and share. Peace and love. Peace and love.